In this video, I'm going to explore why Elly is blotting her copybook. Bad Elly. Right, stage one, remove the front bodywork. Where are my gloves? Oh, beautiful. Voila! Well, candidate number one is this cylinder head bolt here. I wondered whether that was leaking, but this is dry as a bone, so that is clearly not the issue. I can see a lot of dampness in there under the oil filler, so I think we might have to get the fan off so we can have a better look. This will require violence. Right, so having got the stone guard off, that's held with 4 11mm headed bolts, 7mm thread, tray French. I've now got to undo the 14mm bolt in the fan, and there are a few ways of doing this. I mean, first of all, you need a 3/8 socket. You won't get a 1/2 inch in there because it's got to go into the fan like so. And in theory, I've done it just right. So if I just go like that, it undoes. The fine line between getting it too tight and not tight enough. I have had a fan come off once. Thankfully, it didn't cause any damage. Next challenge is getting the bolt out. So I'm hopeful if I do it like that. Yep. There's the bolt. Interesting. There should be a shake-proof washer on that. I wonder where that's gone. Oh well, one of Elly's little mysteries. The next challenge is getting the fan off, which sits on a tapered shaft and it needs knocking off. Which means I need a suitable bar. And that might be it. I'm going to try the jiggle approach first of all. This can work, depending on how well seated the fan is. So we'll take the extension off. No, it's going to need sharp wax with a hammer. Where is my friend the hammer? We are equipped with the world's most mangled hammer. So try and line it up so it's not on the starter dogs, but the other way. We'll go one tap that way, one tap that way. Not enough. Oh, I've got the engine turned around. There we go. Suggests I've not got very much compression, doesn't it? There we go. The fan is out. It's looking a bit soggy in here. I think we may have found our problem. Bring you in for a closer look. If you look in here, here's the oil cooler, but we've got dampness there, which could well be from the cooler itself. But there's dampness down here and all around here, so I think the crankshaft seal might be our culprit here. But let's get this shroud off. This is the points box behind here, so yes, you have to get all this off just to check the points gap. And yeah, we shall see what we find. 8mm headed shouldn't be a problem. Yes, I think this rather confirms it, but it is the crankshaft seal. It's obviously been throwing oil all around here. I've never replaced a crankshaft seal. I've absolutely no idea how you do it. So it has become the time for research. Right, I've just brought Elly outside to let some engine degreaser do its work, because frankly, I mean, I'm not really able to see anything here. I suspect that's going to need a bit of a brush. And poor Elly has come outside with her nose missing, and we're just waiting for the steam train to come past. Right, get some more engine degreaser on the go. Poor Elly is naked at the moment, which is a bit embarrassing for her because the steam train's coming. And this is how close the steam train is to our house. It's there. Lovely 1920s locomotive there. I'm planning to do a bit more on the railway next year. Let's see if that video happens. Right then, we need a hose, Elly. You're not going to like this bit, love. Oh, there we go. I might need some stronger engine degreaser, but I'm definitely starting to see something approaching an engine in there. I wonder if she'll start up. Given we've just soaked the points box, my guess would be not, but we'll give it a go anyway. Right, let's see what's what. Okay, that's impressive. Well done, Elly. Oh, there goes the water burning off. That's what a 2CV sounds like when it hasn't got its cooling fan. No, look, fresh seepage. That looks like it's coming from that oil cooler union where it goes into the block. So I think that might be conclusive. It's staying dry around the crankshaft seal. That looks okay. Right then, we'll have to research how to do those then. I think that could be a really annoying job because I think I'll have to take the whole cowling off. Which means taking the headlamp bar off. Ugh. Right, shall we see if we can get a better look at what's going on in here. I've got my new ring light that was sent for product tests on my magazines, and quite a handy thing. It's fearsomely bright, and we'll see how long the battery lasts. Ugh. What can we see under here? Bring the light down. Does look a bit damp around one of those pushrod tubes. This one here looks a bit damp. I can't really believe. Oh, hold on, no, the one at the back's looking very damp. I think that probably confirms it's either the tubes or the seals. I might try and clean up that area and we can have a bit of a better look. Incidentally, these are the brake ducts that are meant to feed pipes that cool the front discs, but as I've got no under tray, the front discs don't tend to overheat anyway. I've only cooked them once and I was driving like a nutter pillock down a very steep hill, so I generally don't bother. But let's clean up around there and we'll have a better look. No, the pushrod seals seem dry as a bone. Not that it's focusing all that well up there at the moment, but I can see oil leaking down from what looks like the oil cooler union. So I ruled it out yesterday, but that's looking very damp again underneath that union there. That's that bit just there, very damp. So I think it's leaking from that union. I'm not sure what you do about that. I don't really want to have to get the oil cooler off. That's a bit of a big of a job. Yeah. It's now weeks later and I still haven't done anything more than this. We've got the package from, where's it gone? There it is, down by my foot. That is the pistons and barrels to go on this engine. I need to crack on because it's now Monday. There's a 2CV event just north of here on Sunday, so I've got less than a week to get this engine rebuilt, on top of editing Classic Jaguar magazine, which goes to print a week tomorrow. So tinkering time is at a premium, but and it's much colder, but yeah, I'm going to crack on. Might be shaky camera because I haven't got time for setting up a professional. I haven't got any professional stuff, but you know, better. Just have not got time. This needs to get done. So I'm going to get gloved up and get started. Right, I think the main thing to do this time, I'm probably going to get the headlamp bar to give me more space, because it isn't very difficult to get off. And oh, it's interesting. Seem to have somehow managed to get paint on the headlamp shell. That wasn't a good idea. Yes, so get the headlamp bar off. Then we can look at getting the alternator off, getting the exhaust system off. That's always fun. And then take the inlet and exhaust manifold off, which will then leave us better access to the heads. Once we've got the manifolds off, we can get the cowling off. I'm probably going to replace this because that's utterly knackered. It's not really sealed anymore, is it? I think I've got another cowling in stock. So without further ado, begin. Right, that should be the headlamp bar free. Ease that away, complete with the coil. That can rest over here for now on this pile of rubbish. Excellent. Right, air cleaner off next, I think. Right, we've been going for about 45 minutes. We're now at the stage where I think the manifold should come off, complete with the carburettor. Well, there we go. Voila. Oh, what are we attached to? Fuel pipe is actually released. Just got caught on it. There we go. That's another bit off. Got some gaskets to go in that carburettor to try and stop it leaking. And now you can see we're starting to get in. So this is the block. I can now get the remnants of this crappy cowling off, and we'll see the heads. I'll have new gaskets to go in down here as well, but we'll get those off once I've got the cowling off. So it's just a few screws and we should be in. Now one thing you can often get is a smell of exhaust through the heater, and I thought there might have been some leaking on this cylinder head joint, but I can't see any particular evidence of that. You'd normally see a black pattern up the sides. Perhaps there's a little bit going on down there, but we've definitely got a big leak on the exhaust manifold on the passenger side here. Right. Next job is to plug all the inlets and outlets, and now it's cylinder heads off, which means removing the rocker covers. But it must be said, I'm having a look at this. This is a critical oil feed pipe to the cylinder head, and that pipe is looking pretty crusty. I don't like the look of that, so I may have to order a replacement one of those up, because the last thing you want is one of those going. Right, these are 12mm. Wow, 12mm on the rack. It's a miracle. Right, I need to sort out some oil catch can situation. Will it fit under there? No, it will fit under there. Because these things always end up chucking oil everywhere. Right, I'm going to get another catch can to go under there. There we go, the expected droppage. Downside of a flat vehicle is these rocker heads, or rocker covers. There you go, that's all the valve gear. So we'll be reusing the heads. I've got fresh seals to go on. Yeah, that has got a seal on it. So fresh seal to go on those gaskets to keep these nice and dry. There's a new improved design. Right, to get the head off, it's that stud down there and those two nuts there. Also on a 12mm, and yeah, you kind of want to let up on all of them a bit in time, but I'm going to let the oil seep out as well. Right, have actually now plugged the inlets as I discussed, wondering why the head won't come off. And you remember that oil feed pipe I told you about? Yeah, that's got to come undone. What an idiot. You have to be very careful with these, because if you tighten these up too much, and if you go by the Haynes manual figure, you will knacker your heads up. special bolt for these with hole to allow the oil to go through. Ding! There's the washer. Put those over there. And the head studs. And now that should be free to come away. There we go. Oh! It's my push rods coming out. And put the push rods back in there for now, just so I know which one's which. There we go. I'm not sure why one's gold and one's white, but there we are. So that is the piston. You can see it hiding down the bottom there, almost, in the barrel. So we've got new pistons, new barrels to go on. I think I need to rotate the engine because I think I need the pistons at full extension. So we'll do that and get the overhead off. Right, about 2 hours after we began, I've got the heads off. I've even got the barrels and pistons off. So there's one of the con rods. And where's the piston, I hear you ask? It's here. See, it's had some serious blow-by the look of it. That's combustion clearly getting past the piston rings and scorching the piston, but no scrape marks anywhere. Although maybe there's some very light scoring to that surface that you can't see, but I can. But still, that's one of my pistons out. Down here is the barrel, and there's not much to be gained there. I'm not sure you can really tell a lot. I could do a fingernail test. Yeah, I mean there is a... I don't think there's much of a lip there. I don't think these barrels and pistons have actually done that many miles. Certainly under 100,000. But we're into the new kit of bits. So we've got seals variously there. The spectacles are the push rod tube seals that go on the end of the cylinder heads. Those ones down there, they've got a metal carrier. But these new Burton ones are meant to be the absolute business. And that's a full seal set for the entire engine, because I think I could probably do with replacing this crankshaft seal. I have no idea how to do that. We'll have to find out. The oil cooler union seals either side, they certainly need doing. And then hopefully this engine might actually be oil tight. Also got carburetor rebuild kit. Well, certainly the gaskets. I don't think it's a full rebuild kit. And new jets, because bigger engine means bigger swept volume, so you need to rejet the carburetor to cope. So this is far from just checking on the new barrels and pistons and hoping for the best. But speaking of which, these are the new cylinders. We advise you not to drive faster than 80 kilometers an hour or 4,000 RPM for the first 2,000 kilometers. How boring is that going to be? I suppose the theory is that there'll be so much extra power that I won't have to drive Elly flat out everywhere as I have been. There we go, it's a new gudgeon pin, new circlips. Oh, interesting, circlips that you can use pliers on. That's a bit of an advantage. I'm almost scared to unwrap these until I really need them. But I guess you're as curious as I am to have a look. Good old wax paper, keep them nice and oily. And there we go. That is a brand new barrel of 652 cc, or well, half of that because it's only one. And you can see the piston is already at home in there. So these grooves you can see here are where the studs that hold the cylinder head on go. Gosh, this is exciting. It looks so new. You can still see the honing marks inside. Wow. But I think I'm going to leave it there for tonight. I've still got work to do. It's been good to get some progress. But yeah, we're getting there, Elly. We'll get you back on the road again, don't you worry. Well, unfortunately, we're not progressing quite as quickly as I'd hoped on this project. It's now Wednesday. I haven't worked on the car for, well, it was Monday afternoon is the last time I set a spanner on this car. And unfortunately, on Monday evening, I ended up crashing out on the sofa feeling quite broken. So trying not to push myself too hard, too much work, various things. But at least since then, there's been time for more parts to arrive. So in there is the fresh pipe for the oil feed, and some other stuff, because I always buy stuff and forget what I've actually bought. I think it's screws for the cowling that goes around the engine was one of the things, 25 quid. And yeah, some other stuff I've entirely forgotten. So let's just have a quick recap of where we are. So we have dismantled half of the engine. So we've got one barrel off, one cylinder head off, and there's an engine mount. The engine mounts have to come out to get the front cowling off. I'm going to step around the bonnet a bit. The bonnet is a bit of a pain, it's in the way. But one job I keep putting off is I've got to get these out. And I'm not looking forward to that. I'm thinking of using heat to try and encourage them a bit more, because it's really quite cold. And I think if I try and just force those while it's cold, it's all going to go horribly wrong. So I won't get too carried away with penetrating it yet, because the blowtorch might be my best hope of getting some action there. But I think what I'm actually going to do is carry on stripping the engine. You can see I've got this cylinder head off as well. So get that barrel out, get that piston out, and yeah, we'll start reassembling the engine, I think, and just so I'm a bit happier. I don't really like having an open crankcase. Well, spiders will get in if they're stupid oil loving spiders. Right, less chat, more work. Right, this is where I could do with a macro mode, because I'm trying to show you how to get the piston out. But there's a circlip in there which stops the gudgeon pin coming out, and there's a little recess you can just see up there, and it enables you to get a pokey thing in and try and flick the clip out. Now the screwdriver I have is naturally no good for the job, it's too big. We'll keep that to one side because that will come in useful. What I'm actually using, Mighty Thatcher inspired, is a nail, but not a bent one. And in theory I should be able to get that in there and hook the clip. I think it's going to be a bit easier to do without being on camera at the time. So I'm going to do that, and we'll take this circlip out and then gently tap the pin through from that side, so the pin comes out the back. I shall get that done. The circlips have a nasty habit of pinging off all over the place, so definitely not a job to try and do one-handed. And there is the circlip. That's been prized out. It's remarkably easy to do with a nail and a small screwdriver. So now I've got that out, we can knock the pin out through the back here. Now I'm going to find a suitable size socket and give it a walloping. So there we go, that's already starting to push through. Got a socket on an extension pushing out the gudgeon pin here. So just a few taps. It's a lot easier to do with more hands. So yeah, I'm going to carry on doing that with a suitable amount of hands, and then we can get this side off as well. Of course I can just move these out of the way because I'm replacing them. So that's good, because these are too crusty. These are the oil feed pipes. And oh yeah, that is not in great condition. Right, here's the new piston and barrel, and you can see that arrow. That arrow needs to point to the front, and I think, well, I can obviously turn the piston around. It might be easier just to say we'll fit that one on the passenger side. And what you do is you tap the piston down until the skirt is just sticking out, and you can just get the crown, the skirt out sufficiently so you can knock the com rod through. and so like the one I've taken off, you can see the pistons stuck out. You can see the oil control ring sticking out there, but that's just because I've manhandled it off. It is possible to get to the gudgeon pin without the oil control ring coming out, which means you don't need piston compressors, and it kind of simplifies the job. So this one will be going on the passenger side to ensure that the arrows at the front, you can see the cutouts on the bottom are for the pushrod tubes on the cylinder head, and I've got new seals to go on those as well. So I'll tap that down with a hammer and we'll have a go at fitting it. Well, naturally that didn't go to plan. The piston came out as I was trying to knock the gudgeon pin in. So now I've got a bit of a problem because now I need a ring compressor. I think I have one somewhere. Well, we're almost there, but I've been thwarted because I entirely forgot that on these aftermarket pistons the gudgeon pin is held in with a circlip, and the one thing I don't have is a set of circlip pliers. Very typical of me. I knew I wanted some years ago, and I think I bought some really cheap nasty ones that were multi-purpose and they just fell apart. So yeah, nothing for you to be smiling about, matey. You're going in that hot engine. If I can find some circlip pliers. Look at that though, shiny shiny. I'm defeated. My friend can't find his circlip pliers, so that's the end of that. I can't really be bothered just at the moment to go for a 20-mile round trip to purchase some. So it seems a bit excessive, especially when the only working car I've got at the moment is the, well, I suppose I've got the Inver car, but I don't really fancy driving that in the dark, and it is dark. Right, let's have a look at these oil cooler unions then. I'm a bit wary of getting too much heat going on while we've got lots of exposed engine, so I think I'm just going to try a bit of penetrating oil and take it from there. Oh, I can see how this one's going down. The problem is these nuts should turn on these pipes, but I don't think they're going to do that. You can see it's just going to eat up the pipe. The pipe is entirely attached, probably through electrolytic reaction, to the bolt, and in fact I can already see oil leaking out, which suggests that it's fracturing already. I think I'm going to be staring in the face of a new oil cooler. Bugger. Also thinking I might need to drain the oil. I thought the oil capacity was below this point, but there's a danger it isn't. Oh, that one's gone as well. Look, I can see oil leaking out over here as well. Bugger. Yeah, well, suffice it to say, that all got a bit predictable. That'll be one knackered oil cooler union. Well, sadly, that really does put the kibosh on any further progress. I'm going to have to order a new oil cooler up, because you can't replace just the pipes. I think they're an integral part of it. So, yeah, bugger. It is a little bit irritating, but not entirely unexpected. And even more frustratingly, this side is coming undone. I tried a slightly different technique. I mean, this felt weak anyway, and there is a small part of me which is wondering if the leak was because this had already fractured or had already developed a pinhole leak. Because, you know, there are no seals here, it's just a screw fit. So the only option is to try and nip it up a bit, which was clearly just going to result in breakage anyway. So, bugger. So there you go. I think we'll end it there, and you'll have to wait for a next update on Elly and her engine rebuild. She's not going to make it to the 2CV run on Sunday, because I just haven't got enough hours, I haven't got enough parts. It looks like I now need a new oil cooler, Yeah, it's all come grinding to a halt a bit, which is a shame because we've got some 2CV merchandise on the way, which I'm very excited about. Yeah, keep an eye on the store, hubnut.fws.store, and there will be some developments there, hopefully. But for now, that's going to be it for Project Elly and her engine rebuild. I shall say thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, and I shall see you in a future video. Farewell.